So,
go.
Hello, commenters, viewers, subscribers and likers. This is me, Bradley Remington. As you notice, I have this thing there. So I'll give you 10 seconds to comment, like, subscribe, or do whatever you want. Like comment on YouTube. I'll give you 10 seconds. Time's up. Let's zoom into the fantasy cell. So let's look at the fantasy cell. That is 3.9 billion years old. Let's go to Gorgonium gitus. That is a bit of a cell, but the first one to wriggle about. And here goes Sepatops tarlops. It's a bit of the horn. They look a bit like horns because of their evolution. Gitanium and carcert. This worm type ancestor is around 500 million years old. It has eyes. The buckbeak's ancestor has eyes now, but they're covered. And then later we got Cockorops, Charadolop. Cockorops Charadolop is a frilled lizard, but instead it's a frilled fish. It's a frilled fish of the fantasy ocean. Frilled fish of the fantasy ocean. It was the first one to open its jaws. And this one is Copanthorops caraptar. This is one of the first buckbeak ancestors to walk in the sea. They have these they have these things on their back now, but they can nearly go on water. And it turned into Ichthyostega paramplacornu. This species of Ichthyostega had colossal horns, and it can now move on land, but with a lot of twice as heavy as Aurora tugenensis. Aurora tugenensis is 50 kilograms. So Ichthyostega paramplacornu is 100 kilograms because of its horns, not its belly, its horns. Then we are at Tarcanium taraji. This lizard-like ancestor used to have its beak. Used to have a shielded head from the horns. From the horns, it developed into an armored head. Then we got Torotodilus crocodilus. Now this genus is a bit like crocodile, but its armored head is now the top bit has gone apart. but it can now fend off. It can now fend off scavengers. It has a large jaw. It's a large jaw, and it was the first one to be the crocodile. The first ones to they were the first ones to have chicken wings. To have wings, have tiny lumps of wing. In the Middle Cretaceous, Parterosaurus, Susatas was a four-legged creature that had two armored bits. Its beak, one of them is its beak, and its armored snout. These ones were the first ever ancestors to glide. They could glide across seas. These at 200 miles per hour. Equitus jig. Now we're at Equitus gigas. These are the first of the buckbeaks genus and the biggest. About 5 meters tall. Around 5 meters tall. They were the first of the ancestors of the buckbeak to split from the griffin and the buckbeak. Now we're on to the second to final, and now we're at the common ancestors. You may have heard these words before. Equitus marcellus. Equitus marcellus was one of the first ones to actually fly. And my cat could not stop chewing the final outcome. Cat could stop chewing. Never can't stop chewing. My cat. Back to Equitus marcellus. Sorry. They were the first ones to fly. Off from the land to the air. What's unusual about Equitus marcellus is the furry point on its wing. It's not poisonous or venomous. It's not poisonous, and it cannot hurt you. It's furry, and it has a tiny shell inside. That was my cat, Emerald. And she's busy with the pen. And finally, we have a Lego buckbeak. Up until now, buckbeak species have been around for 3.9 billion years. 0.9 billion years of evolution. The lack of style was invented. This lack of loose feather. Lack of loose feather. Ooh. Lack of loose feather. This lack of loose feather was the first. They were the first. The modern day ones were the first ones to have loose wings, loose feathers. To have feathers on their wings. To have proper feathers on their wings. To have proper feathers sticking out on their wings. And they were and the biggest out of all those ancestors of of the grip of the buckbeak of its genus. Well, of its genus Equitus. Or the Equitus gigas, 5 meter tall. Or predator, but it had a diet like the Ororhyntugenensis. Like the diet of the Ororhyntugenensis, and fixing the final outcome. Wherever the next bit goes, I would not know. But you friends might have this, but you might tell me where it goes, and comment which will come next in the buckbeak evolution. What do you think would evolution? So you can comment. Now you can comment. Now it's gonna talk. Now there's a tiny conversation with the present version of the buckbeak.